Hi there, and welcome to She Spice. From being named the following enormous thing in the business to purposely requiring her vocation to be postponed after pundits blamed her for utilizing her uber-popular sweetheart to get to the top, Saweetie's ascent to notoriety has been dubious. Without a doubt, we should discuss how she went from being a profoundly expected craftsman to somebody who needs to be booted from the music business early on and ascend to distinction. I spent my childhood in the Strait region of Sacramento. I felt like the two spots showed me a ton and motivated me into the lady I'm today, Sai or Diamond Kiava. Valentine Harper was conceived on July 2, 1993, by video lady Trinidad Valentine and maker John Harper. You've presumably seen her mom in DMX's music video for What These Need. From her mom's side, she is Asian, Filipino, and Chinese, and from her dad's side, she's African American. This is certainly one of the top 3 Filipino foods. Ado yes, we didn't get the pen, goodness. I figure I would pick song over pono. I love sagong, which is my one SOI. She experienced childhood in St. Nick, California, and learned at Merrill F. West Secondary School. She then got into San Diego State College, where she studied business and correspondence. She then got into the College of Southern California, where she finished her 4-year education in liberal arts and correspondence. The rapper was considered a very balanced understudy. Her business teacher let the press know that he'd seen a great deal of visionaries yet not much of practitioners in his vocation. What's more, he was certain that Sai would proceed to earn overall respect for her ability. SOI anyway immediately understood that she needed to zero in on her rap profession and started posting clips of her freestyling on Instagram as soon as 2016. Her stage name comes from a charming moniker her grandma used to consider her when she was a child. My most memorable memory of music needs to return to when I was likely 6 or 7 and my mother had me leave a voice message on my father's telephone and Biggie was on the radio. Sai had consistently had a skill for performing. She guaranteed that she began paying attention to old-school rappers, for example, Tupac and Big Deal, when she was a pre-youngster, and by 13 she was forming her own melodies. Her most memorable exhibition was at her secondary school ability show when she was 13. In the wake of moving on from USC, Sai began posting bits of her rapping the stanzas to famous tunes or making her own. In 2016, a video of her rapping over Kia's neck and my back went viral via online entertainment. The video captured the attention of Max Goose, who quickly flew her out to sign a record bargain. I wouldn't agree that school was a significant piece of my excursion as a youngster, yet as a grown-up, I truly do feel like it was on the grounds that I would have rather not headed off to college. I needed to go straight into music. The vocalist began dating Quo of the rap bunch Migos in 2018, yet the two purportedly had a rough relationship. They in the long run separated in 2021 after Sway claimed that he'd been faithless. She took to online entertainment and expressed that Quo had been attempting to win her back by sending gifts and over calling. However, she was finished with him. She likewise posted a not-so-unpretentious plate at the rapper, proposing that the main thing she'd truly needed from him was devotion. This anyway wasn't the main motivation behind why the two split up a couple of months after they declared they'd headed out in different directions. A video began making adjustments on the web, probably from 2020, that showed the previous couple tossing hands at one another. TMZ posted a video began with Sai and Quo quarreling about an orange case. She then, at that point, continued to leave the lift when it made a stop yet swung at him before she's completely out. Quo then pulled her back inside, and the two began going at each other. Somewhere in the entire fight, Saweetie tumbles to the ground, and Quo simply remains there, gazing at her while she gets herself back again. After a long silence, the two put out isolated announcements, tending to the circumstances. STI guaranteed that the occasions in the video traced all the way back to 2020 and were just being delivered now to create head titles. She guaranteed that the two had issues back in 2020 that were accommodated and afterwards separated on account of totally various issues. Quo thus asserted that he was sorry for his activities in the video and guaranteed fans that he'd gran from the individual they recently saw in that video. A couple of her fault-finders blamed her for working up the show to remain important, and one of them was her ex Quo. When Saweetie tapped out on their relationship, she posted a tweet that took a subtle approach. With little she blamed Quo for undermining her, that he attempted to win back her kind gestures, and that she cherished him profoundly, yet he was excessively occupied with different ladies to see it well. For me, he's perhaps my best educator. I mean, he's so prepared, he has such countless achievements, so he simply shows me in the studio with my composition with all that accompanies the game. The gift she was discussing were the various extravagance merchandise the two would get each other for extraordinary occasions, in addition to other things. Quo once got her an extravagance vehicle for Christmas. The Migos rapper quickly answered the tweet and guaranteed that it was extremely unique of him to answer by any means to anything negative that has been posted about him anyway. He guaranteed that this was the main time he'd make an exemption. Then he remarked on how he realized that this was Psy's frantic effort to start a profession. Restoration when she realizes that she has no music coming up in the foreseeable future. In not such countless words, Quo blamed her for utilizing him to get well known, which is, as a matter of fact, something a couple of her fault finders have likewise blamed her for they guaranteed that a lot of what Psy's finished in her vocation is to remain significant, and the majority of that comes from being in an extremely open relationship with Quo. The rapper's rejoinder and everybody's allegations implied that Psy needed to fend off allegations that she was utilizing their separation to create more clout. However, the status quo didn't remain quiet after all. As a matter of fact, in the chaotic melody, Quo referred to their rough relationship and, surprisingly, implied Psy's treachery. He flipped the switch on her and blamed her for having gone behind his back with perhaps his dearest companion. Quo didn't name the individual. She'd supposedly undermined him in his tune anyway. Web examiners went to work very quickly and calculated that it probably was Quo's companion and long-term associate. Offset, it was possibly him or Lil Child who was seen spending time with Psy soon after. News sources previously saw that Quo and the Craftsman had unfollowed each other from virtual entertainment. Psy's clapback back to the roads tended to Quo's charge as well as her contribution with Lil Child. She wasn't inconspicuous when she blamed the two of them, guaranteeing that Quo was all the while attempting to get back with her and claiming that Lil Child attempted to utilize her to make a title. The tune neglected to do well, regardless of its shocking origin story. For one fundamental explanation, terrible timing. Pundits immediately got down on Saweetie for tending to Quo on a track, so not long after he just saw his Migos musician and nephew's departure destroying issues with different craftsmen. A frosty young lady ostensibly set SOI up for life, and my sort helped her benefit. Standard acknowledgement. We obviously can't neglect about how huge of a triumph her cooperation with DOA Feline on Closest Companion was. Each of the three singles acquired overall popularity and accomplished platinum status anyway. Next to a couple of her singles turning out to be for the time being hits, So's vocation has seen a bigger number of lows than highs. She attempted to exploit the buzz produced by Frigid Young Lady when she delivered her introduction collection High Upkeep in 2017. However, the collection neglected to outline it was back to square one, and Saweetie delivered Dearest Companion at some point in 2020, speedily recovering force. It was then that she chose to deliver her studio collection of Pretty Music. She initially began prodding the collection via web-based entertainment, delivering bits to a great extent. Fans were naturally energized about her rebound. However, it was during one of these secrets and pieces that they saw something astonishing about Sway's eagerly awaited rebound. Sway had initially wanted to deliver her collection at some point in 2021, yet deferred the delivery, asserting that she really wanted an additional opportunity to recreate a few melodies as per the Craftsman she needed to ensure that everything was wonderful during discharge. She likewise uncovered that she'd team up for certain significant names back to the entire experience. The piece that created a ruckus over online entertainment was one where Psy was seen flowing to Waters' Barbie Young Lady. For what reason was this no joking matter in light of the fact that Nicki Minaj had proactively reported she was remastering the hit tune for the 2023 Barbie film soundtrack? Curiously, it was likewise a coordinated effort with DOA Feline. Everybody took a gander at Psy to remark anyway, as opposed to allowing the news to gush out over. Saweetie went on the air to say that she was happy she was motivating different specialists, given that Nicki has nearly 10 years of involvement with her. This scoured fans for the incorrect way. They blamed her for not being exactly coy about the way that Nicki had outsmarted her and that her delivery would now be eclipsed by what was expected to be the greatest hit of summer 2023. Psy then, at that point, attempted to twofold down in general circumstance by asserting that individuals had confounded what she'd said. She said that what she implied was that there was something beyond a couple of Barbies to circumvent her tune, and Nicki could coincide effectively. Pundits have blamed her for turning to pitiable strategies to remain in the titles. For instance, a tweet addressing Lil Nas X's sexuality became famous online in 2023, joined by a clasp of him. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.